rolling.
Let's roll.
I appreciate you being here. You flew.
Appreciate you having me.
Who just spoke is Dr. Hamad Shirazi. I'm going to call him Hamad from now on, but he certainly is a doctor. Dude, we met at a private island. I don't want to intro any other way besides how we met, like how cool and special that was. Maybe I can help, or you can help me spill the beans on what that island in Belize is. But for me, just to set up the episode, it was a way to connect with people who are immediately thinking and doing at an incredible level. Like everybody there was at a particular caliber and in a particular caliber of space in the world. And when those two things coexist right in the same spot at the same time, it can be pretty powerful.
Well, to add to what you were mentioning, we're at Prana,
I was just about to say the name.
Yes, down in Belize. And we were specially invited. And we had a unique group that, came together. And kind of what we were mentioning, where it's people that we genuinely would want to spend time with and develop friendship and connection with, but also aligned in the like-mindedness of wellness, being of service, having a positive impact on humanity and beyond. So that's something that made it a little bit extra special beyond just the amazing nature of the space and the environment that we were in.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that complemented what I didn't say well. But then you have like the food that was included as like 5-star, farm to table, made right there. Like every day, every meal, you get some spa treatment right there. This cool programming on top of all that. So, but yeah, our cohort was pretty special. It was a unique and important crowd. I don't know. So that's how we met. So that was pretty cool. And you know what? You were the first person from the our group that we met at that restaurant
at the airport.
At the airport.
Yep.
I don't know. That's kind of interesting because my kids. You just worked on us, and people who don't know who you are still like, you said Dr. Hamad Shirazi. So what is he a doctor of? You just worked on us in our backyard, did a pop-up and worked on several people, like, and made such an impact on us from the work that you do. I'm intentionally being vague. That, it's pretty incredible. Like when you can walk into a mode of wellness and see its impact. And so you're also in town because here at Connect St. Pete, where Naaman Creative is, we had a health and happiness summit, the first in the world. And we created this and had people like yourself come from all over and attend and present on like 5 different modalities of health and wellness. And then interwove the concept of happiness because we've coined 2026 as the year of happiness. So just to give everybody context.
What do I not do? No, so how I like to serve is the synergy and integration of the foundational wellness principles of like breathing, hydration, nutrition, just our basic biology through education, chiropractic care, a little bit of coaching, just to provide a natural, conservative, and holistic way for people to be more aware, conscientious, and to be in total integration and embodied. And to put that simply is to live a healthier, stronger quality of life and to have clarity. I think the role of a doctor, and if you look at even the origin, it's a teacher. And I really value that. I've always had that intention in my mind is, you can serve and provide care and treatments all day, but if you can really educate and empower someone to expand their capacity and their ability to think critically and to reflect and to gain and seek more knowledge, you really are adding tremendous value.
The value at the very end is what I've experienced in your method or your approach to what you do. Because, like, I don't even think you mentioned chiropractic in that.
I did just
Did you?
briefly, yeah.
Okay.
I don't
All right.
love the
'Cause
labels.
I love that. That's why I didn't, you didn't say it for a while, but I was processing all that you had to say around it. And I think that's like the amazing thing that people who operate in any industry can, if they achieve, that's in a much healthier recipe for success. So for instance, I'm in marketing. If I can empower the people that I work with to know at least what we're doing at a strategic level, a foundational level, then they will be able to make decisions that ultimately they need to steer the ship, unless it never happens that they're like, you do everything and call the shots on everything. That doesn't work that way. So if they can be in tune with these foundational principles and strategy of the marketing and how things work, then it's a clearer path to how they can carry out their goal in creative production smoother and more efficient and with less impact. So, you could say the exact same thing for what you do in your approach.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's about the greatest reach and positive impact that I'm able to provide. Even, when I was younger, a lot of us have those aspirations. Oh, I want to change the world. I don't even really say that. I just want to have the most positive impact on the world as I'm able to. So I don't want to force or do anything beyond my means. I just want to make sure that I've done my part to make the world a better place or to bring harmony within myself and around me. And it's all about that butterfly
Absolutely.
effect.
I mean, imagine if everybody adopted that same approach, because I think I'm not talking about people who don't want to spread good. I would imagine that people who don't spread good think that they're spreading good, right? They're just misunderstood or have things misunderstood. And yeah, ultimately, if all of us just do our own part to not do harm, we're in a much better place.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people who want to do good put too much on themselves, I think, to define how great that amount is. When it's just like you in our backyard, you coming into town, into St. Pete for that, I don't know, it was like an hour and a half block. You impacted multiple lives, in a very short amount of time, positively. And that's like a little grenade, a positive grenade, that you just dropped. And you did it yesterday too, here in this room at the summit. So it doesn't have to be huge to be huge. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and circling around the gratitude, I mean, same thing. We had the conversation. You were very encouraging, enthusiastic. You invited me. We made it happen. From your efforts and your team, you hosted this summit, and I think that we all had, it was a great group. You facilitated that. So and each person that was there, they all played a role. I think impact is always, and sometimes it's just showing up. You don't have to be the doctor. You don't have to be the event leader or coordinator. Just showing up. All of us matter. All of us have the ability to show up, serve, and have a positive impact. And sometimes it's just being there.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it because when you're building something, sometimes your self-recognition of something you've built doesn't happen in that moment, like a ribbon cutting or a grand opening. Like, you're kind of caught up in doing the thing that only until you're like showering one day 6 months later, you're like, that was pretty cool. But it means a lot that you can also recognize that and take the move, just show up. Like, oh, this seems cool. Oh, and it's in alignment. So what, do the pros outweigh any negatives? Yeah, for sure. And here you are. And that was the exact decision, and how we, at least I agreed to go to this private island in Belize is, oh, there's an opportunity standing at my door, literally right here, right there, where Justine's actually sitting. I was invited, and it's just, but Mara was like, oh, it's in 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, can I bring my family? Yep. Okay. We'll be there. So I don't know, and that changes your course. And even just the inspiration that you take back from things like that, whether it be a conference or a convention or a expo, like you name it, a trade show, like there's inspiration everywhere. If people align and are trying to do things with good intentions, like there's really no negative steps that you can take towards positivity and your goals if you continue to achieve alignment. And I truly believe now, being surrounded by people like you consistently now makes me believe so hard and fully that if you keep aligning, things in my life, like literally in the last days, have adjusted me. And I know I'm going to be a better man from it, and a better person. And then therefore affect greater change.
Yeah, that's a powerful observation. And it's funny you're using alignment. Oh, it's a great word. And
Sort of intentional.
yeah, so
But I use that word all the time.
yeah, alignment and then just finding harmony. It really helps us to just come back to center. And even what we were speaking about yesterday is that inside out approach. So just returning to ourselves, and I guess as we're on the topic of impact and just maybe our purpose in life, I was having a conversation this past weekend too about how we begin from within. So it's like I, we, and then that's how we impact all. I think a lot of humans and a lot of us are, well-natured and well-intended, and we want to do good in the world. And sometimes it's challenging for us to realize, okay, let's take care of ourselves first so that we can share with those around us. So it starts from within, and then that's how we have a larger and larger impact.
Yeah. Again, like it doesn't have to be as hard as we make it. It isn't easy work, but it's not as hard as we build it up, because here's why I say that is I think with anything, people build something up in their brain big enough
in their mind, yeah.
and then that's paralyzing. You don't even start. Like if someone thinks like, okay, I love the concept of running, but I don't want to have to run 5 miles or half a marathon. It's like, dude, run half a mile to start. You'll probably be winded. If you've never run half a mile, like you're going to feel it, and that's good. Now you've moved. And I know that you emphasize movement and breath at like fundamental levels. These are just fundamental steps, where now next time you're going to do 0.7 miles, and it's going to feel the exact same as what 0.5 felt a day later. Yeah. I'm saying this stuff, I guess, to remind myself. My mantra this year is small is big. So the projects that I work on, the time that I devote to whatever it is, it doesn't have to be this grand thing to make an impact, because all these small things are the things that make a grand impact. So staying in alignment really helps to greater that impact, with the time that you're allotting. But anyways, what's up?
Just wrapping up the great trip. I had so much fun with the group, and just speaking about what we're discussing as far as the basics. I have put in a lot of inner work, reflective, and also like outer work with seeking credentials, knowledge. And I don't like a lot of tasks or to-do lists. I don't like people telling me a lot of work. So I've become a teacher that really values simplifying, making wellness or whatever we're working towards, we want to bring a lighthearted energy and make it fun. And that's why I was sharing with you earlier, like a 3-minute, just breathe conscientiously for a minute, do a single leg balance exercise that is challenging for you. 1 minute each, that's 3 minutes, and you're upgrading your brain, your nervous system, and integrating and harmonizing and aligning your brain to your body. It's so simple, but a lot of times when people, kind of what you're mentioning with running or fitness, you look at it as this mountain that you have to climb right now. So then you get paralysis by analysis, and we don't take action.
That's why Costco does so good. There's one type of black olive. You take that. If you want black olives, then this is the option for the most part. But that is a model. Like simplicity, like I'm a designer. So the simpler, the better, usually, especially now. Today's things are happening fast. We feel forced to juggle a lot more. So that 3 minutes, like if you got this far in this conversation, that's totally worth its weight right there. You got this far, 17 minutes in or whatever it's going to be edited. And like, it's just now putting into practice. So making it at least a routine at some cadence. That's not zero.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a small step. Then if you're doing it, say twice a week, that's twice a week more than you were doing it before. So 24 times a year more than 0. And then the next year, like it would be probably 48 if you were in that habit, that good habit. And if you weighed the minutes of that, that's not too much. It's like probably a couple movies.
Yeah. It's compounding.
Yeah. Right. Was it you or sort of some of what's cool is yesterday, all the 5 different people who presented, my wife, you, Mike, Anna, and Carrington, all about yoga, Reiki, biohacking, chiropractic, just wellness in general. But like all of them started to melt together because there were so many tendrils that connected each one of those modalities and complemented each other so well. Because also some people feel like they're in a box as far as a solution. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to my shoulder hurts. I'm just going to have to get surgery or whatever's been provided to them as a prerequisite thought. And now they're stuck. But going to something like that gets you out of your mindset and opens you up to different modalities. But again, it doesn't have to be huge. Like that was a 5-hour event. So you do that often? You go to summits, you speak at...
I love teaching. I think my primary boxes are some form of education, but make it in a fun, interactive, engaging way.
Which it was yesterday.
Hopefully, yeah, that's my intention. And then serving, like with chiropractic care and one-on-one. I also really value that and being able to go deeper with and support people and do some of that like human engineering and problem solving. And then also from the fitness standpoint and like training, coaching, strength and conditioning. Those are, I would say, my 3 primary buckets of how I love to serve. And the fusion of all 3, and that's what I plan to do at my few upcoming retreats, the one in Prana and in Asheville, as well as I usually start with an embodiment lecture. So we get the brain integrated in the mind, and then you receive care, and then you also embody it. So it's all team oriented, because I do think nowadays in the wellness space, we have so many ideas floating around. And I think one of the best ways is to truly embody it and discover what is yours. And, not following someone else's wellness protocol or program or someone else's fitness protocol or program. My goal eventually is to inspire a whole community globally of people who are sovereign and they understand how to take care of themselves, and they don't need to be a wellness professional, just helping light other people's lights, and they can become leaders and inspiration in their communities. And you don't have to know, everything about anatomy and physiology. You don't have to be at a doctoral level. But that's something I've definitely valued is some of my clients over the years that I've really spent time with, they end up knowing more than like health and fitness professionals.
Well, how do you think people ultimately at the end of the day, like become geeks about something is like they're exposed to it regardless of what stage they are in life. People can like people who are 75, probably someone today is like geeking out over AI and potentially or something like that. So it doesn't but that's kind of the beauty of education is that they can now like take that with them and empower them. You use the word sovereign. That was very intentional. Do you use that word often?
Yes, that's one of my just North Stars is being sovereign, having freedom. I think that's why part of why I choose to be very disciplined is to earn that freedom and to also be someone who can provide generously, authentically. And I think in order to do that, I mean, I don't think any of us are truly independent. We're interdependent. I think being interdependent is healthy. But yeah, sovereign. I want to choose, and I want to take radical accountability for my choices, the good, the bad, the ugly. And yeah, I think that that's something that I can also provide just inspiration for, because I think the world would be a better place if we're all a little bit more conscientious, accountable, aware.
And that starts from us, with honestly, I'm wearing a shirt that my wife designed. I helped her, but she came up with this and it says, just breathe. And I don't know, that's also probably going to be a mantra for quite some time, if not forever, is we definitely forget about these just fundamentals. Like the 3 minutes that you're talking about, we could keep coming back to that regardless of the branch of topic we talk about, whether it be basketball or something like that. We're always going to be coming back to like a foundation of breath or, awareness, brain stimulation, movement. Because regardless of what you do, you have to take care of this vessel, this like wet, wetware, and all of our physical body with whatever venture you're doing.
And let's say the work never ends. It's like,
Right.
let's say we ate perfectly for a week. It doesn't mean we never eat again. It's like, oh, we mastered nutrition. No, but you still got to do it tomorrow. You still got to do it today. Even that, the 3-minute routine of breathing and balance, all you got to do is find something that neurologically stimulates and challenges you. And I don't think we ever are going to, I could work with an elite Olympic athlete, the top of their game. I think you could still find that beneficial for them, or someone, like a lot of us were athletes beforehand. So just because we did that, it doesn't mean that we stop working on ourselves. I think that growing the brain, neuroplasticity, it's all through new experiences. And we need some sort of novelty. That's what keeps us youthful and alive. And the mind is resembled in the body. And I have noticed, working with people for quite some time, is generally when someone has a more malleable and flexible open mind, I tend to also see that in their body. And sometimes if we're very like rigid and may have dogmatic beliefs or mindset, that also can show up in the body with like stiffness. And that's just a different way to look at it. Is, the body and mind, everything is integrated. We're integrated. We're a system of systems, and then we're collectively one holistic system. Humanity, plant kingdom, animal, like we're all in this together.
You wrote it, now let's bring it to life. Introducing the Blogcast by Naaman Creative, the game-changing way to turn your blog into a podcast-style experience. No recording needed, no big budget required, just your message amplified. More reach, more engagement, more results. Visit NaamanCreative.com and let's make your content talk.
So you've got to catch a flight here in like an hour, and you're going back to Atlanta where you practice.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me what a day in your life is, because I know that you literally physically touch a lot of people per day and like transfer your energy. So, what's a day like? And then how do you wind out of that?
Well, we can even just just think about tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be at our Sandy Springs office, scheduled 9 to 5. We'll have patients. We have like an hour lunch break, but in the morning I wake up, get grounded, thank God, and just start my day with gratitude. I'll listen to affirmations, maybe do some breath work, meditation, prayer as well, and maybe some form of movement. So it's all about clearing and cleaning my energy and being centered so I'm ready to serve genuinely. So for me to really show up for each person, I got to be clear. I got to be good. My mind has to be open to where I'm not bringing my own stuff. And I really value that. And, shout out one of my primary teachers, Paul Check, when I got into, more operating as a holistic health practitioner. He would call it emptying the bone, or having grounding and clearing practices to make sure, because when you're in service for people, it's a high calling, and you don't want to be mixing your energy. And there's always going to be a little bit of, energetic transfer, but I really value keeping my vessel clean and clear. So when I'm in service, it's all about supporting them. And then, so I'll see patients. It fluctuates. I work in different offices. Days are different. And then, I connect with each person. I really love the work that I do. I feel like it's all an extension of my community and the people that I serve. I do my best to connect with each and every one of them. It's, very grateful. And then I also sometimes teach fitness classes. So it's like Tuesday, I'll work 9 to 5. Then I teach a fitness class at 6. So I have some long days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mondays, I'll dry fast. Wednesday, I work 9 to 5, and then I teach another fitness class.
What's a dry fast for people
Dry
who
fast
don't?
is where I have no food or water or any consumption, ranging from like 12 up to 24 hours.
I was just about to ask how long is that?
And it varies, but that's a reset for myself to come back to center. It's challenging.
Yeah, no water.
Yeah, no water.
You're pretty parched after that, or?
You know what? So much is more mental. So if you haven't tried it, you're definitely, because the body's going inward and healing, and it's utilizing, being very conservative with the resources. So I often find that, speaking about this yesterday at the summit, is sometimes we overhydrate because the cellular and electrolyte balance in the body may be off.
Really? I didn't know that. That's not common, overhydration, or do you think it's common?
I think not overhydration on the cellular level. I think maybe too much water in the body, and the cells aren't actually uptaking that the water. And then also, we have the sodium potassium pump in every cell. If we drink too much water, we can sometimes deplete like potassium or sodium in the body, and then it may throw off some of our electrolytes. And that is why elements such as fasting or just taking breaks help our body do what it needs to do. And I am of the mindset and belief that nature is wiser than our, mind will ever be, or let's just say our egoic mind. That is the one that is usually choosing the foods and the comforts.
Sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, if we didn't keep ourselves in check in some way, our bodies would just do whatever's most comfortable, fight entropy, or just entropize, or whatever that word would be, right? I really like, it sounds like your routine is very healthy. So I wanted to comment on that, because you can tell, when you worked on us, there's like a grace to it. And I don't know, I feel like I look at the way people serve others, like in their businesses daily. That's like my whole thing in a way, because I need to know that in order to like help them create whatever we produce. But you do it in a very graceful and effective manner. is like not overly done because you don't need to do a lot. You can only do so much, but your adjustments were profound and like I feel great. So, and also you empowered me to, that 3-minute exercise, routine, 3 minutes, but I'm still going to call it a routine because that's great. And I'll get that little thing that you stand on, that
A little
cork.
balance, yes.
What's that called?
Well, that is from the Foot Collective. It's just their like foot restoration kits.
Yeah.
And when I started to really integrate my foot and ankle, like injuries and scar tissue from the past, and I've torn both my Achilles, I think the feet and ankles it's the gateway to movement. I mean, when we're babies, we crawl, but then we walk. Walking is a primary form of movement and locomotion as humans. But most of us are so disconnected from our feet. And I've noticed that even health care providers, even across the board, even chiros, like we don't look into it as much. So we can do great work, but then if we go right back into certain footwear or shoes that are disconnecting us, and we don't need to be perfect, but I just think that awareness needs to be there, and that some sort of work to integrate it. Because I'm all about limitless potential. I just think that if you want to be the healthiest, strongest, happiest version of yourself, there's certain elements that you're just going to need to do, and like integrating the barefoot piece. So to be truly sovereign, you got to have strong and integrated feet.
Right.
Or you can still actually achieve a lot. You just may not achieve your potential. And not that everyone needs to do that, but I just want people to have the awareness that this world exists, that there's always deeper layers.
Yeah, but they all start at a fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it so interesting that we have so much distraction? And some of it's great, like in doses or moderation, or you can't do it all, but there's like an overconsumption distraction that is kind of like takes people out of their own bodies because they are putting themselves in other people's bodies for so many more moments throughout the day because we're so connected, right? Like with social media or TV or movies, you are essentially, if it's done right, you're putting yourself in their shoes and experiencing that with them. And you're kind of unplugging from your being. And that's cool to do because like I do it, but I don't feel like I overdo it. I couldn't function in what I do, but we forget about our feet, our own bodies, our own hygiene. And I guess it's kind of been a blessing in disguise that I've had several doctors on this podcast. It's kind of weird, but I really like that because it's always good reminders, and that's why keeping yourself in check or going to these kind of summits or taking a step back and plugging into health and wellness, regardless of what you do, is so impactful. And regardless of the modality, if you have good intentions and it's not dangerous. Yeah, so it's neat that you're in that realm. And it's neat to know people like you functioning at such a high level within it. Watching you present yesterday and the way that you worked the room and demoed on people, it was really neat. You brought my buddy Patrick up. Shout out to you, Patrick. He's cool. And then Mike healed his scar right in front of our eyes.
Good old Mike.
Yeah. Shout out to Mike Montana. But it is pretty incredible. That was neat. We've reached a moment because you got to catch a flight soon called rapid fire.
Let's get it.
Yeah. So same questions or very similar questions to all my guests. And the goal is to keep them concise. Although if you want to expand, cool. But we're going to start with, what is your biggest source of inspiration?
Just life itself. The ability to be alive. I mean, it's so fascinating and amazing. And just being in awe and gratitude. And we only get so many moments. And I just want to make the most of them.
Cheers to that. Yeah. Okay. I don't think anybody's, there are some common answers. That was more unique. And that's
I'm just
great.
going instinctively
Yeah,
and
clearly.
intuitively. Yeah.
No, I love it. And I agree. I genuinely love asking these questions to like anybody I meet. So that's why they're in this. So you can listen to one musical artist. Like you're on an island and that's like the only CD, and you've got a CD player that's solar powered, and there's one disc in there. I've never phrased this question like that, but that's how I'm kind of like how I would think about answering this question. It's like, I'm stuck with the CD. This is the only one.
Interestingly, and even being authentic, if I was to answer that, I would probably want it to be some just like healing frequency or something that would help balance out. Because even a lot of the artists, I grew up listening to hip hop. I listened to a little bit of everything, but I wouldn't want that on repeat. If there's going to be something, I want it no words, very subtle, and helps regulate my nervous system. Wow. So I don't know that I necessarily have an artist, but yeah, I would say some like frequency or silence.
It's white noise. Honestly, that's a profound answer.
That's
You
actually the
have me
honest
thinking.
truth. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
you got me
even most of the
thinking.
music I like, it's not the highest vibe. I like listening to, and I also know the energy of lyrics, and I just don't know that I would have someone that I would want to take with me for the long haul
Right.
at this moment.
That's a great point because you're locking into that particular vibe. Because
Yeah.
usually a band and then a style and then that particular album has like a very distinct vibe. And if you're stuck with that, happy or sad, like that would kind of, yeah. So I would probably choose instrumental. There's an artist called Kevin Hu that made a pure relaxation album, and it's like gold.
All right,
It's
you gotta share
perfect.
that with me.
I
'Cause
will. Oh yeah.
and even when
Yeah.
I teach, fitness, and I ebb and flow with my consumption, even auditory. I don't always listen to music or with lyrics. Sometimes I just want silence and quiet. But in most of my fitness classes, I do all instrumental because I don't want people to tap into their emotions so much or use that as motivation. I want it to just be background and for them to focus and for their training to be the most calibrated activity that they do so they can be fully present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my wife, Hande, is going to love that you just said that, because like she constantly reminds me like you don't have to always have something on. But like my mind kind of craves that. I usually put on things that don't distract me. Like I can't listen to new music and work, but I'll put on something that is, instrumental or something that doesn't distract me, even if it shows. But then I kind of always have something on because I'm like, I don't want to miss that. Or now I got to catch up with the news, whatever it is. So sometimes rapid fire isn't so rapid. And that's honestly usually the case. What about a book? So on that island, now a book plops from the sky.
I'm just going to say, because it came to mind, this book, Shantaram, it's an amazing novel. It's like nonfiction, but it's a story, and I don't even want to give it away. It's a story. It's based on a true story of a man escapes prison and ends up in like India, Mumbai, and it just goes through. It's deep. It's poetic. It's telling a story. So as far as I would say that's probably, they do have a sequel, but that one book, it was profound, and it just came to mind first. I'm sure.
Cool. Is it newer or older?
No, it's older.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome, great. Honestly, so I'm gonna get specific with your industry. What is the number one most impactful thing that you think a human can do each day to better their lives? Is it that 3-minute thing, or would it be something even
I'm gonna
different?
go breathe, but
Okay,
learn
so step one of that.
Step one,
1 minute.
Breathe with awareness, and I can help you with this, but also just breathing deeply and maybe learning. So being your own advocate, go and study breath. It is what connects us to life. It is our most impactful physical activity. It's what we do more than anything else. So I think people just always skip over it. But it's like, how are you going to have optimal health if you don't understand how you breathe and like proper breathing mechanics? Because, there's nervous system regulation. And I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've seen all these trends come and go. And I was someone who was in this holistic lifestyle before it was trendy. And I've just seen out, and still people are always jumping to outside and more technology.
Yeah.
The breath is what every single human that's ever walked, we all breathe, and it's free. So breath is also something you can't really make profits around breathing unless I come up with some breathing gadget. But no, I think I used to have a quote on my slide. It was like, master your breath, master your life. And I had it like tagged as Coach Shirazi. That was like my quote.
That was your tagline?
Yeah, well, because it's
a good one.
It's true, because your breath will lead you home. Yeah, honestly, if you just breathe, you'll probably be more aligned, and then you'll attract all the people you need to learn from. And it may not be me. It could be someone else. It doesn't really matter. It's just get in tune with your higher self and your higher consciousness, and life, whether you call it God, the universe, is going to provide you with what you need. And I have a fundamental belief that everything's happening for us in every moment, and everything matters. So
it's fundamental. But it's interesting because your breath is also on autopilot in its own way. Like, your body's going to breathe. It's just, but are you breathing well or with intention to enhance your life with the breath?
Well, it'll trickle over to every part, because yes, you're naturally going to move to get from point A to point B. Do you want to be someone who lives with intention and awareness, or do you want to just be on autopilot and your whole life goes by and you missed it?
Yeah. I'm sure there's a great quote to insert right there. Last one. How do you define success?
Fulfillment. And for me, my definition of success is, I feel like I'm extremely successful right now. I still have so many aspirations, so many goals, and so many things that I want to achieve. But I do feel like I'm showing up. I am finding balance and harmony. I have that contentment and inner peace. I feel like I'm having a positive impact. I genuinely feel that the world is better with me in it, and that is success.
That's a very cool way of phrasing that, of the perspective of that.
I'm not perfect by any means, but I think I do, add value in a positive way.
I can attest to that.
And I think that's what it's successful. And then we fluctuate.
By the way, you won rapid fire. So great job.
Thank you.
Full points.
Okay, full points, yes.
Yeah. So
hopefully they carry over some credits.
Yeah, you get Naaman points. NaamanCoin.com.
Okay, very good.
/Hamad. No, I appreciate you. It's been fun talking to you. We didn't meet a long time ago, but there's definitely a great sharing of both vibes and intention, regardless of like our industries. And I just appreciate you.
Appreciation is mutual.
Last thing, I'm doing a Hoosier goodbye, a Midwestern goodbye. Your biggest advice to anybody listening, something that changed your perspective. Maybe it's something someone said to you once.
What's coming to mind right now, like the biggest is sometimes challenging, but I listened in a lecture one time. When we are fully present, nothing is beyond our capacity. So it was like a question you could ask yourself is like, what is so wrong with right now? Because even if you're enduring excruciating physical pain, emotional pain, you're in any sort of challenging environment, it's the mind that's either longing for the past or thinking about the future, which is where the torment is coming from. It's actually not in the moment. So if we can be present and breathe, then nothing's too daunting. But and then just to add to that is just, we got to lean on faith a little bit. So you got to have some sort of connection with spirituality to source or where we come from, because I think without that, we have less meaning.
Mm-hmm. Well, the universe is really big. So, I appreciate when you were talking about that you're like, whether it be religion or how the universe or whatever the source, you've used a few definitions, which is so inclusive because everybody, regardless if you're even in the same religion, has a different belief of what
Exactly.
that
So it's
thing
like
is.
I refer as God, but I understand people's own definitions and their own trauma or challenges. So yeah, I think it is important to be inclusive. So whatever it is that
Sure
you
thing.
connect with, that is the the higher power, and to have those fundamental beliefs is like it's all for us.
Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks for listening.